It's an absolutely insane day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Magic markets have been crashing hard. Wizards of the Coast has made a series of choices that have seriously backfired on them, which leads to a really bad outlook for 2026. Things are going to be grim. Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt. Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another insane installment of Mega Magic News. We're going to be talking about how Wizards of the Coast has created products that are heading straight down into the ground. It is a wild and unfortunate situation that we're looking at. And speaking of unfortunate, I just got scammed by scammers. So now I have to go and get all that sorted out. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because I can feel this intense energy inside me because of it. And it's going to probably translate in this video a little bit. So if it seems like I'm too worked up about what's going on with Magic, just bear in mind there might be a little bit of that blended in as well. Now, before we dive into the terrible badness, let's talk about some absolute goodness in the form of my sponsor. Give yourself a treat this holiday season with Zaximus Studios' amazing tokens. These ultra premium tokens have an absolutely silky feel to them. The colors pop right off the cards, and there is a surprising range of choices. On top of that, you can flip these tokens over, and on the back side of the card, it will let you track both tapped and untapped tokens. I've never seen that anywhere else. They also have these amazing treasure tokens for when you really want to show off. And the best part is, you get 10% off when you use the code MyBonesHurt. Ho, ho, ho! Get them before they go, go, go. So before we talk about the crazy market crash, I want to talk about a different market movement that is another result of Wizards of the Coast messing up with Universe Beyond, specifically in this case, Avatar. So you might have heard about the Earthbending Student, which is a random uncommon and now is insanely hard to get. And people are trying to figure out, why is there such a high price tag on this? Why can't I find this card? So it looks like what happened is Wizards originally intended to include the Earthbending Student in the Avatar beginner box. But things get shifted around, they make changes all the time, so all of a sudden it's not in the beginner box. But that's okay, because they moved it to Jumpstart. So they told us, no, it's actually not in the beginner box, it's in Jumpstart. It's in this one particular theme pack, which some people are claiming exists, some people are claiming doesn't exist. It literally looks like what happened was, they told us they're going to be in the beginner boxes, nope. They told us they're going to be in Jumpstart boxes, nope. And the only place you can get them is collector booster boxes, which are being not exactly universally panned, but they are suffering. So as a result, there's not a lot of these cards floating around. There's another uncommon from the Jumpstart boosters. It's called Longshot Bowman. And that card is like a $20 uncommon. There's some really weird stuff going on with the Avatar cards. Just, if you see something, do a little bit of market research, look around at different prices before you buy anything, because there are people trying to scam by selling commons from the beginner box for like $5 a piece. And we're talking like a 0/4 wall with no abilities for like 2 mana. And they're like, yeah, I want $5 for this. So it's basically like, hey, are you a big Avatar fan? Are you stupid? Then you should pay me this amount of money for this thing. So just bear in mind that that's going down, right? So those are the side craziness things. Honestly, when you hear the real insanity and how bad things are going, you're just going to stop and go, yo, because the future is going to be nuts. So here's what's going down. We already knew that Spider-Man tanked super hard, right? And we were looking to see how Avatar was going to do. And I said that Avatar was mostly doing well. Actually, I guess I need to issue a correction right now. When I did my video talking about the Avatar pre-release, and I said that the card quality issues seemed to have improved. Well, I think I gave them too high a grading because a number of errors have come out, specifically these egregious foil errors where you have this massive bar of like foily jank straight down the middle of the card. And it's happened so frequently that misprint groups, where normally you can get a premium for these messed up cards, are going, nah, bro, those are everywhere. And these are like the premium foils coming out of collector booster boxes. So collector booster boxes are where we're seeing the biggest market crash overall, but we're seeing it with play boosters and stuff as well. So with Spider-Man, we reached the insane heights of $1,000 for a booster box. I was literally standing in an LGS when somebody came in and said, hey man, I want to get Spider-Man. And the guy who owned the store was like, I can't tell you the exact price because the prices on this stuff is insane, but it's probably going to be about $1,000. And the guy's like, yeah, you know what? I'd still like to pre-order it. And I'm just sitting there going, this is insane. First of all, to have that kind of money, but secondly, to just not even hesitate about it and just go, yeah, man, let's do this Spider-Man action. That sounds good, right? So this was happening when Final Fantasy was going nuts, right? Final Fantasy is incredible on one hand, and it's also a nightmare disaster for us on another hand, which I will get into that. But Final Fantasy just went, yo, what's up, bro? And the collector booster boxes were like, I'm going to the moon, son. They hit a G. They're like, I'm $1,000, baby. Then they went up to $1,500. Then they started to push $2,000 a collector box. Like, that is the level that they're being flipped back and forth on the market. Now, that was the height, right? So what happens is a bunch of people look at that and go, wow, Magic the Gathering's like free money, bro. Why don't I get the collector? That's why Spider-Man collector boosters were so hype and so hot, because they were riding off the train of Final Fantasy, and they got basically a bunch of scalpers got hosed full on because they went, yo, this is free money. And then they bought a bunch of this stuff and went, why is like nobody's buying this? Like Micro Center apparently is a distribution chain or something like that. They bought a whole load of Spider-Man. This was like their first foray into getting into Magic, and they're fire sailing it like nothing after a little bit, right? You had Spider-Man boxes 30, 40, 50% off for a play booster box, let alone the collector booster boxes. So Spider-Man definitely just went boom and spiked the wheel. Oh, do you think the collector boosters are good money? Well, guess what, chump? You're hosed. You are going to lose on this guaranteed, because Spider-Man is, honestly, it's the worst product we've seen in a long time. They're like, we got to make the set bigger because, we love Spider-Man. We got to make sure we show all the Spider-Man stuff. Have you seen supportive parents and the Subway and hot dogs? It's like you expanded the set with nothing. And the collector booster boxes, what do you have to chase? A Soul Stone? A special edition Soul Stone? That's it. That's it, right? They didn't even serialize the Soul Stones, which is a very interesting choice that may have to do with the weird development of the set, right? Like Spider-Man wasn't originally supposed to be the first Marvel set we saw. It's not supposed to be the first Infinity Stone that we saw. It got jumped forwards because Wizards of the Coast rearranged their schedule, which actually will give us some interesting information about what's going to happen in the future with them. But let's talk about what's going on with Avatar collector booster boxes, because they are crashing out hard too. You can actually find Avatar collector booster boxes being dumped by Amazon. If you don't know what a dump on Amazon is, that's when they're selling below manufacturer suggested retail prices. We went from $2,000 for a Final Fantasy box, $1,000 for a Spider-Man box, to dumping Avatar boxes. Like at first, before the set started to get spoiled, there was some hype around the collector booster boxes. They ticked upwards. You're looking 600, you're looking 700. I don't think they ever hit a G. Like, I don't think that they got up to $1,000 from what I saw, but they did move upwards for a bit. Then the set started to show a bit, and all of a sudden, the prices started ticking downwards. More spoilers start rolling down, prices start ticking downwards. So, collector booster boxes now being offered for $50 less than the MSRP. It's supposed to be $450, you can get it for $400 now. And Amazon's not even sold out at that level, right? You have situations where random scalpers have gone out and bought Avatar bundles and boosters and things like that, and they're like, hey, I'm selling these 3 of these for this cost, but that's what I paid for them, so I'm not letting them go unless you give me that much money. And it's like, oh, I got bad news for you, scalper boy. Things aren't going to get better for you. Those are just going to become more worthless. So this has actually affected the overall Spider-Man into Avatar has affected the collector booster market to such a degree that Final Fantasy collector booster boxes are now $1,000 or lower. The entire collector booster market has essentially been elbow dropped from space, and I've already seen Avatar play booster boxes being sold at a discount. This set is, comparing it to Spider-Man from a mechanical standpoint, from a flavor standpoint, it's way more cohesive. They put way more effort into earthbending and all those kind of things. I mean, earthbending is a busted ability, let's be real. But they put way more effort into Avatar than Spider-Man. So they're not an exact comparison, right? Avatar is a better product overall, but collector booster boxes are a different beast. You have to bear in mind that they're two completely different product lines when you stop and go, right? Because play boosters are obviously for all the players. That's what you have. You want to play, you grab your play booster boxes. Collector boosters are a treat for players. I know some people who will buy themselves a collector booster box when a set comes out. He's not a whale. He's not buying it to flip it. He's just buying it for pure enjoyment to open. But as time's progressed, he's cut down to only getting 1 or 2 packs because of the price, all of this insanity, right? So ultimately, you have a variety of different people coming in with different levels, but they're not going to be able to sustain this sort of setup where you go, here's the problem. Here's the problem. You want your collector booster boxes to appeal to collectors, right? You have players and you have collectors. And those are the two markets that Wizards is trying to serve right now. Players get a bonus from collector boxes basically by them having, this is where we have the crazy expensive stuff, so the prices of the regular stuff will be lower. But it doesn't always work out to really kind of vibe the way Wizards wants it to. So you have a situation where the collector booster boxes are super flat. The only thing that's interesting in this set really is a couple of cards like the Badgermole Cub, which is obviously super busted. There's a few cards that people want to play with, and play drives, obviously, the price of certain cards. So there'll be some mythics in the set that are big money items. But for the collector booster boxes, they don't have any interesting special treatments, right? They're literally just screenshots from the show. They don't have serialized cards, which means you don't have those automatic big ticket items to chase. On top of that, they went with like the neon ink stuff, but the neon ink stuff is played out. It did not do, like, basically the neon ink stuff started out hype and it's crashed by 60-75% for almost every neon ink card. Did you crack a $2,000 neon ink card? Congratulations, it's $750. Normally what happens is most of the price of most cards will get crushed, but those super hype cards at the beginning will actually travel up a bit as people are like trying to get them for their collections. But this collector booster stuff isn't appealing to the collector spirit of people. So as a result, it's literally just failing. Without serialized packs, without serialized cards in it, that doesn't limit the print run, right? They can literally go and print as much more Spider-Man, they can print as much more avatars they want. When they do serialized cards, they can't increase the print run unless they make an entire new series and make new boxes and everything, because they can't say on the box you can get a serialized card when they're all gone. So the serialized cards are a big deal. Actually, speaking of serialized cards, I cracked one in a live stream a couple of nights ago, specifically from this new game that I'm playing called Wonders of the First. So that's over on my live stream channel if you want to go and check it out. They're doing something more interesting with their serialized cards where they actually have like tournament participation and other things that tie them in. And they don't just do like one card with 500. They have a number of different levels that they do. It's an interesting approach to serialized cards. I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. But when I compare it to Wizards' approach has been all over the place, right? They go, we're going to do every old boarded card from Brothers War out of 500, but we're not going to give them different artwork. And then we're going to do a little run of different artwork. Oh, we're going to have 3 serialized cards here. We're going to do 77 chocobos. We're going to do 500 of this. It seems like they don't really know exactly where to go with the serialized stuff. And it's clear that if you don't include serialized stuff, the collector boosters are just going to crash. So you have the fact that this set doesn't have a bunch of bangers for people to chase after. You have the scalpers getting up in the mix too. This is basically a situation where here's what we're looking at, friends. If you really want to know how things are going to go, yes, these are bad signs from Universe Beyond. But if you really, really want the litmus test to figure out what's going to happen in the future, keep your eyes on Lorwyn Eclipsed, because this is where it's all going to go down. Lorwyn Eclipsed is the crux of Universe Beyond and Universe Within as far as I'm concerned. Because if you look at the way things have worked recently, Universe Beyond has been touted to the high heavens. We heard about every Universe Beyond set. If you remember Cons of Tarkir, it feels so crazy to say if you remember Cons of Tarkir, having sets come out every 6 or 7 weeks is insanity. It's absolutely insanity. You're just trying to keep up with it all. You just go, like, so, Cons of Tarkir, right? Not Cons of Tarkir. Tarkir Dragonstorm. Dragon Fury. Whatever it's called. I can't remember the name anymore. The recent Tarkir was a Universe Within set that Wizards didn't even tell us was coming. They didn't even bother. They're like, yeah, it's coming, but they gave us no spoilers. They didn't tell us anything about it. They expected it to flop miserably, and then it did banger. And they went, oh, hold on, crap, we gotta get more printed. And they ran off to the printers, print more of this stuff. It turns out they actually do like it, right? So that was a successful Universe Within set. Edge is another successful Universe Within set. I mean, come on, like it's Universe Within technically, but ultimately, what's going to happen is they had taken Spider-Man. Spider-Man's basically was where Lauren was going to be, and they moved Spider-Man into this year because they knew it was just going to tank. So they're like, okay, you know what? Dump Spider-Man in here. We'll just get that bad egg out of the way, and we'll hope that sandwich between Final Fantasy and Avatar will be okay. Final Fantasy did crazy good numbers. Understand, Final Fantasy was the biggest selling Magic set of all time before it actually officially released, right? And so that's going to be a big part of what we're talking about here. Lorwyn Eclipsed is an in-universe Magic set that we have had a lot of time to know about, right? We have known for more than 6 months that it's coming. Unlike the con stuff where we knew nothing. We know Lorwyn Eclipse is coming. We've seen cards, we've seen art, we're hyped. I actually have a Lorwyn Eclipsed lore video over on Fantasy Geographic, the YouTube channel I have where I cover stories and lore and stuff. So Lorwyn Eclipse has some genuine potential. And it's heartening to see when you go to the Reddits and stuff, you can see people go, oh yeah, Lorwyn's coming. I'm hyped, baby. I'm hyped. Like, it's going to be a big deal. It might be Bloomborough levels, right? So now here's where it's going to get interesting. Let's say that Lorwyn Eclipsed is the most successful Universe Within set that we've seen in the last 2 years. Let's say it does the most banger numbers, and it's just like everybody who's been saying they want Universe Within, they want high fantasy, because that's what Lauren's going to be. Swords and sorcery, none of these, I'm a techno boy with my laser visor, none of that crap, right? It's totally just going to be high fantasy goodness, the stuff that us OGs love about Magic the Gathering. So here's where I put the sadness in you, friends. If you're excited about Lorwyn Eclipse like me, here's the sadness that's buried deep in my heart that I'm going to share with you guys. If Lorwyn Eclipsed does banger, 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 but it doesn't do banger, banger, banger like Final Fantasy, that will be definitive proof to Wizards of the Coast. They'll be like, look, this set had so many months ahead of it. All these people were hyped for it. Everybody who said they weren't happy about Universe Beyond came in and bought it, and we made 30% of what we made off of Final Fantasy. We made 50% of what we made off of Final Fantasy. Scrap them, double the Universe Beyonds. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is, they're already mapping out the beginning of 2030 right now. We're in the first couple years of the 2030s for Magic the Gathering's set plans. So we could have a situation where Lorwyn Eclipsed is like, yeah, gonna herald in a new age of Universe Within. Look at how well it did. Yeah, you go Bloomborough, you go Tarkir, you go this, and they go, oh, you know what, there's enough money here for it. But if they feel like that set was successful, and even at that success level, it doesn't make enough money, if their licensing fees to make a set are like 30%, and Lorwyn only makes like 30% of Final Fantasy, guess what? There's another 40% just sitting in there waiting to be grabbed. So Wizards will go. But it also has to be balanced out against the fact that how many Universes Beyond can sell on the level of Final Fantasy? You can think you have a banger IP, and Final Fantasy is not as big as Spider-Man. Right? But why do Final Fantasy sell more? Because, first of all, Final Fantasy was way more faithful to the actual product. And secondly, Final Fantasy doesn't have nearly as much product you can buy. As a fan of it, you can't go and get Final Fantasy stuff everywhere. Spider-Man is everywhere. You go to the dollar store, they got Spider-Man masks, Spider-Man birthday suits, stuff, all this kind of nonsense, right? So when you look at that, you go, Spider-Man's way bigger than Final Fantasy. And they blew it. Avatar is a random nostalgia property from decades ago. And it's cool to see, but it's not going to do Final Fantasy numbers, right? At the end of the day, though, that kind of stuff is definitely going to be compared to Lorwyn Eclipsed. So it's going to be a rough 2026 as far as I'm concerned, and most likely the indicators point to a situation where we're going to be getting more Universe Beyond. Rosewater told us we're going to have more Universe Beyond in 2026 and less in 2027. I'm highly skeptical of that. I just feel like, look at what they did with the Monster Hunter Secret Lair. If they really didn't care at all and didn't want to make sure that they hit a certain profit level and keep their partners happy, they wouldn't have scrapped it and started over. So the Universe Beyond is strongly on their radar. They're literally like, who told you the Spider-Man's no good? We want to get him. They're that level. So bear in mind, things are going to get rough. And as I said earlier, I did a live stream where I opened up that Wonders of the First Serial Card in a collector bundle. So if you want to go and check that out, I will leave a link to my stream channel down in the description of this video. Thanks for coming by and hearing what I have to say. A big shout out to my patrons and channel members. You guys rule. And I will see you all, my friends, in the next video.